The morning Earth's destiny changed forever. Dr. Alex Chen was analyzing bacterial samples from Mars in her lab at the International Space Research Center. The 40-year-old xenobiologist had dedicated her life to studying potential extraterrestrial life, though she never expected to encounter it firsthand. The samples, collected by the latest Mars rover, showed promising signs of microbial activity. As she adjusted her microscope, every screen in the facility suddenly flickered to life. The image that appeared made her question her sanity. A tall, ethereal being stood before a backdrop of stars, its silvery skin seeming to shimmer with internal light. The alien's 4 eyes, arranged in a diamond pattern, regarded the camera with an unsettling intelligence. When it spoke, its voice resonated with a harmonic quality that made Alex's skin tingle. "People of Earth, I am High Commander Vex of the Valorian Collective. Your species has reached a crucial evolutionary junction, and we can no longer maintain our policy of non-intervention." The being's voice carried an authority that demanded attention. "Your planet faces numerous crises: environmental collapse, political instability, and technological dangers beyond your comprehension. We offer a solution, though it may challenge your current social paradigms." Alex's hands trembled as she recorded everything on her phone. Years of studying potential alien life hadn't prepared her for this moment. The being continued, its announcement growing more shocking with each word. "The Valorian Council has decreed that every human of breeding age must enter into a trilateral marriage bond with 2 non-terrestrial partners within 1 Earth year. This arrangement will ensure genetic diversity, technological advancement, and cultural stability for your species." The lab erupted into chaos. Dr. James Kumar, Alex's research partner, knocked over a tray of samples. "This has to be a hoax," he muttered, but Alex knew better. The quantum signatures her instruments were detecting couldn't be faked with current human technology. As the announcement continued, Alex's scientific mind kicked into overdrive. The Valorian explained that 2 alien species would be participating in these marriages. The Valorians themselves, a highly advanced civilization specializing in biotechnology, and the Nexarians, masters of quantum engineering with the ability to manipulate spacetime. Matching centers will be established within the week, the High Commander explained. Each human will undergo comprehensive compatibility screening. Resistance is inadvisable. Those who refuse will be relocated to isolated preservation habitats to maintain human genetic diversity. The broadcast ended, leaving Earth in stunned silence for approximately 3 seconds before global pandemonium erupted. Alex's phone exploded with notifications, calls from government agencies, messages from colleagues, and alerts from every scientific institution she'd ever worked with. Within hours, the first Valorian ships appeared in orbit, their massive forms visible even in daylight. Smaller vessels descended to establish the promised matching centers in major cities. The world's governments scrambled to respond, but the technological gap was evident. Military attempts to challenge the aliens were met with passive defense fields that rendered Earth's weapons useless. As a leading xenobiologist, Alex found herself thrust into the spotlight. Government officials and media outlets bombarded her with requests for expertise she wasn't sure she possessed. How could anyone be an expert on something humanity had just discovered existed? During an emergency UN session broadcast globally, Alex watched world leaders debate their limited options. The Chinese representative argued for resistance, while the European Union advocated for careful cooperation. The U.S. president appeared via video link, announcing the formation of a human-alien integration task force. Alex received a priority message from Dr. Sarah Martinez, her former mentor. "Alex, they're requesting you at the New York Matching Center. They need someone who understands both human biology and alien life theories. This could be our chance to learn their true intentions." As she packed her research materials, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this marriage decree than simple cultural integration. The Valorians' technology suggested they could solve Earth's problems without such intimate involvement. Why insist on these trilateral marriages? Looking out her lab window at the Valorian ship hovering over Manhattan, its crystalline surface refracting sunlight in impossible patterns, Alex made her decision. If humanity was going to understand this new reality, they needed people on the inside. Her years of studying theoretical alien biology had prepared her for this moment, even if she hadn't known it. As she left the lab, a smaller ship passed overhead, its design noticeably different from the Valorian vessels. This one moved like liquid mercury, its form shifting continuously, presumably a Nexarian craft. Two vastly different alien species, both insisting on marriage bonds with humans. The scientist in Alex couldn't ignore the inconsistency. Why would two advanced species need genetic diversity from a less developed civilization? She had a feeling she was about to find out, whether humanity was ready for the answer or not. The New York Matching Center had been a luxury hotel just days ago. Now, its marble lobby housed an array of alien technology that made Alex's scientific instruments look like children's toys. She passed through a scanner that bathed her in purple light, presumably analyzing her at levels she could only guess at. A Valorian coordinator, introducing herself as Lyra, greeted Alex with a slight bow. Unlike the High Commander, Lyra's skin had a pearl-like iridescence, and her movements were almost hypnotic in their fluidity. Dr. Chen, your genetic profile is fascinating. Your research background makes you uniquely qualified to help us refine our matching process. Before Alex could respond, a ripple of movement caught her attention. A Nexarian emerged from what appeared to be a fold in space itself. Unlike the humanoid Valorians, the Nexarians defied easy description. Their form seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once, with only a vaguely humanoid shape visible to three-dimensional perception. The being introduced itself as Zix, its voice somehow forming directly in Alex's mind. Your species' perception of reality is charmingly linear, Zix communicated. It makes you uniquely suited for stabilizing quantum uncertainties. The cryptic statement set off Alex's scientific curiosity, but before she could question it, Lyra guided her toward a chamber filled with holographic displays. We're facing a challenge with human compatibility ratings, Lyra explained. Many humans are rejecting their matches before even meeting them. We hoped your understanding of both human psychology and xenobiology might help us improve the process. Alex spent the next several hours reviewing the matching algorithms. The complexity was staggering. The system analyzed everything from genetic compatibility to psychological resonance. But something felt off about the data patterns. These genetic markers, Alex pointed to a sequence. They're not just checking for compatibility. You're looking for something specific in human DNA. Lyra's expression shifted slightly, a tell that Alex might not have caught if she hadn't spent years studying alien behavior theories. Perceptive. Yes, certain human genetic combinations have unique properties when combined with our species. A commotion outside interrupted them. A group of protesters had gathered, carrying signs opposing the forced marriages. Alex watched as Nexarian peacekeepers appeared seemingly from nowhere, their presence alone causing the crowd to disperse. Their ability to manipulate space-time made traditional resistance futile. Later that evening, while reviewing more files, Alex received an encrypted message from an anonymous source. Not all Valorians support the decree. Meet at Central Park, midnight. Come alone. Against her better judgment, Alex went. In a secluded area, she met a Valorian who introduced himself as Kex, a scientist like herself. The marriage decree isn't what it seems, he whispered, constantly checking for observers. Both our species are facing extinction, but not for the reasons you've been told. Human DNA contains something unique, a genetic sequence that could save us. But the process of extraction, a sudden distortion in the air interrupted him. An Nexarian enforcer materialized, and Kex vanished in a flash of light. The Nexarian turned to Alex, its form rippling. Dr. Chen, your presence is required at the matching center. Your first compatibility meeting has been scheduled. Back at the center, Alex found herself in a meeting room with both a Valorian and Nexarian candidate. The Valorian, named Saren, was a biotechnology specialist. The Nexarian, who called itself Echo, claimed to study temporal mechanics. As they talked, Alex carefully observed their reactions to her questions about genetic compatibility. "Your species' adaptability is remarkable," Saren commented, reaching out to analyze Alex's cellular structure with a handheld device. "Few species can survive such rapid environmental changes." Echo's response manifested as patterns of thought. "Humans exist more firmly in current time-space than any species we've encountered. Your consciousness anchors probability in fascinating ways." Alex pieced together the subtle clues in their statements. Both species seemed less interested in cultural integration and more focused on specific human traits: genetic adaptability and temporal stability. The marriage decree wasn't about saving humanity. They needed humans for something far more crucial to their own survival. As she left the meeting, Alex's phone vibrated. Dr. Martinez had sent a heavily encrypted file, data about genetic experiments being conducted in secret at other matching centers. The images made her blood run cold. Whatever was really going on, humanity needed to find out fast. A plan began forming in her mind. If she accepted the matching, she could gather more information from the inside. But as she watched another Valorian ship descend through the clouds, she wondered if understanding the truth would help humanity negotiate a better deal or reveal a threat greater than anyone had imagined. The weight of her decision pressed down on her. Somewhere in the vast genetic library of humanity lay something these advanced species desperately needed. The question was, what price would humans have to pay to keep it? The underground research lab was a far cry from Alex's state-of-the-art facility at the International Space Research Center. Hidden beneath an abandoned subway station, it housed a growing network of scientists, hackers, and former military personnel, all working toward one goal: understanding the true nature of the alien marriage decree. Dr. Martinez had assembled this team in secret, using old Cold War bunkers and forgotten infrastructure. As Alex studied the genetic data they'd gathered, a disturbing pattern emerged. Every human who had completed the marriage bond showed subtle but significant changes in their DNA structure. "The alterations are progressive," Alex explained to the gathered resistance leaders. "It's like their genetic code is being slowly rewritten. But for what purpose?" She projected a hologram showing the modified human genome sequences. "And here's the strange part. The changes are different depending on whether the human is bonded to a Valorian or Nexarian." Commander Sarah Hayes, formerly of the U.S. Space Force, leaned forward. Could this be a form of biological warfare? A way to alter humanity without obvious invasion? Before Alex could respond, their security systems triggered. Everyone froze as footsteps echoed through the tunnels. A figure emerged from the shadows. It was Kex, the Valorian scientist from Central Park. "Your species' resistance capabilities are impressive," he said, raising his hands to show he came in peace. "But you're fighting the wrong battle. The truth is far worse than genetic warfare." After thorough scanning to ensure he wasn't being tracked, Kex revealed his story. The Valorians and Nexarians weren't allies, but desperate competitors. Both species had encountered the same devastating problem. Their advanced evolution had led them to an evolutionary dead end. "The Valorians are losing their ability to adapt to any environmental changes," Kex explained. "And the Nexarians. Their manipulation of space-time is causing them to become increasingly untethered from physical reality. But humans, your primitive DNA holds the key to both problems." Alex's mind raced. The marriage decree. It's not about cultural integration at all. You're using it to harvest genetic material, to study how humans maintain both physical stability and adaptability. "Yes, but it's worse than that," Kex continued. "The competing treatments being developed by both species are incompatible. If both are implemented simultaneously through these marriages, it could destroy human genetic stability completely." The revelation hit like a thunderbolt. The two alien species weren't cooperating. They were racing to see who could exploit humanity first, each hoping to save their own kind at the expense of the other, and of humanity. Meanwhile, above ground, the situation was deteriorating. More humans were completing their marriage bonds, unaware of the genetic modifications taking place. Alex's own scheduled bonding ceremony was approaching, but now she had a plan. Working with the Resistance, she began developing a counteragent, something that could protect human DNA from external manipulation. The challenge was creating something that could work against both Valorian biotechnology and Nexarian quantum manipulation. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Kumar, still working at the official lab, discovered that human junk DNA, long dismissed as useless, contained sequences that acted as natural protection against genetic manipulation. It was as if humanity's genome had been prepared for this fight long ago. "Look at this," Alex showed the Resistance team. When exposed to both Valorian and Nexarian modification attempts simultaneously, these sequences actually strengthen rather than break down. It's like an evolutionary failsafe. But as they worked to weaponize this discovery, the aliens were moving faster than expected. Reports came in of the first successful trilateral marriages showing unprecedented genetic changes. Some humans were developing Valorian-like physical characteristics, while others exhibited strange temporal distortions similar to Nexarian abilities. The Resistance's hidden sensors detected increased activity in orbit. More ships were arriving daily, and the matching centers were processing humans at an accelerated rate. Whatever both species had planned, they were racing toward its completion. Alex made a difficult decision. She would go through with her matching ceremony, but not before being treated with their experimental counteragent. She would be their Trojan horse, carrying humanity's defense into the heart of the aliens' plans. As she prepared for her role, a new message arrived from an unexpected source, a group of Nexarians who opposed their species' plans. The message was cryptic but clear. The time stream shows multiple futures. In most, humanity falls. But in one, you rise beyond what either of our species could imagine. Alex looked at her reflection in a broken mirror, wondering if she would still recognize herself after what was to come. The counteragent coursed through her veins, untested but humanity's best hope. Tomorrow, she would meet her assigned partners and begin the most important undercover mission in human history. The Resistance teams mobilized worldwide, preparing to protect humanity's genetic heritage. But as Alex reviewed the latest data, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were still missing something crucial about the aliens' true motives. The genetic modifications, the quantum manipulations, they all pointed to something bigger, something that made even advanced species desperate enough to risk everything on a gamble with humanity's future. The bonding ceremony was unlike anything in human experience. Alex stood in a chamber suffused with shifting lights, her assigned Valorian and Nexarian partners on either side. Saren's silvery skin pulsed with bioluminescent patterns, while Echo's form rippled through multiple dimensions. The counteragent in her bloodstream felt like ice in her veins. But something went wrong, or perhaps exactly right. As the quantum biological bonding field activated, Alex's engineered resistance triggered an unexpected reaction. Instead of her genetic code being rewritten, she began receiving flashes of information, downloading generations of alien knowledge through the very connection meant to modify her DNA. The truth hit her with the force of a supernova. Images cascaded through her mind. The birth of civilizations, the rise and fall of species across the galaxy, and a pattern that repeated with devastating regularity. Every advanced civilization eventually reached the same evolutionary crisis point. "You're not just losing your adaptability," Alex gasped, staring at her would-be spouses. "You're losing your connection to the universe itself." The chamber's lights flickered as both aliens realized their secret was exposed. Saren spoke first. "Every species that achieves quantum manipulation and biological mastery eventually faces the same problem. We begin to fade." Echo's thoughts resonated with a deep sadness. Reality itself rejects us. The more we master the universe's laws, the more we become divorced from them. Hundreds of advanced civilizations have already vanished, becoming too ethereal to maintain physical form. The bonding chamber's security protocols activated, but Alex's enhanced awareness let her perceive the quantum barriers before they formed. She stepped through space-time itself, emerging in the Resistance's backup facility, where Dr. Martins and Commander Hayes waited. "It's not about marriage or genetic harvesting," Alex explained, her mind still reeling from the download. "It's about anchoring. Humanity has something no other species has maintained through their evolution, a stable quantum signature that keeps us firmly rooted in physical reality." The Resistance's computers lit up with alerts. Worldwide, other failed bonding attempts had triggered similar revelations. Humans were beginning to understand their unique place in the universe's design. "The junk DNA we discovered." Dr. Martins pulled up the latest analysis. "It's not random at all. It's a complex system of quantum anchors evolved over millions of years. Every failed attempt at genetic engineering or selective breeding in human history has actually been our DNA fighting to maintain these anchors." Commander Hayes studied tactical displays showing increasing alien ship activity. "So why the rush? Why are both species pushing so hard to bond with humans now?" The answer came from Alex's downloaded knowledge. "Because it's starting to happen to them. The Valorians are losing physical cohesion. Their bodies are becoming energy. The Nexarians can barely maintain their form in our dimension. They're not trying to change us. They're desperate to use us as anchors to physical reality." But the revelations weren't finished. Deep in the alien data, Alex found references to Earth's location in the galaxy, and its significance made her blood run cold. Earth sits at a quantum focal point, a nexus where multiple dimensional planes intersect. It's not an accident that we evolved here. We're not just random survivors. We're the universe's fail-safe. The Resistance facility erupted into activity as reports flooded in from around the world. Failed bonding attempts everywhere had triggered similar revelations in other humans. Humanity was awakening to its true nature and purpose. "There's more," Alex continued, sorting through the vast database now in her mind. The marriage law wasn't just about saving their species. They're running from something that hunts advanced civilizations when they begin to fade from reality. Security alarms blared. Above Earth, new ships were appearing, but these weren't Valorian or Nexarian vessels. They were something else entirely, entities that existed between dimensions, drawn to the massive quantum disturbances created by the aliens' desperate plan. The Valorian and Nexarian fleets shifted formation, not to attack Earth, but to defend it. They had known this was coming. Their rushed marriage decree hadn't just been about saving themselves. It had been about preparing humanity for what was about to arrive. Alex looked at her former would-be spouses, now allies in a much larger conflict. "You could have just told us the truth from the beginning," she said. Saren's skin pulsed with regret. "Would you have believed us? Would humanity have accepted its role as the universe's anchor point without proof?" Echo's form stabilized slightly in Alex's presence. The human capacity for adaptation needed to be triggered naturally. Forced evolution would have destroyed the very qualities that make you unique. As the first interdimensional entities began their assault on Earth's orbital space, Alex realized humanity's true test was just beginning. They weren't just fighting for their right to remain unmodified. They were fighting for their role as the guardians of physical reality itself. The Resistance bunker transformed into a command center as humans worldwide began reporting new abilities, not modifications from alien DNA, but awakened potential that had laid dormant in their own genetic code. Humanity's hidden purpose was revealing itself just in time for the greatest challenge in Earth's history. Earth's orbital space had become a battlefield unlike any in human history. The interdimensional entities, which humans had dubbed Voidborn, existed as tiers in reality itself, their very presence causing distortions in the fabric of space-time. Valorian and Nexarian ships fought alongside hastily launched human vessels, their advanced technology seeming primitive compared to the physics-defying abilities of their opponents. In the Resistance bunker, now serving as Earth's primary defense coordination center, Alex worked with both alien species to unlock humanity's true potential. The genetic anchors in human DNA weren't just passive protection. They were tools, evolved over millions of years for exactly this purpose. Each human is a focal point of reality. Alex explained to military leaders worldwide, via quantum-encrypted channels, we don't just exist in space-time. We help define it. That's why the Voidborn can't simply erase us like they did other species. We're part of the universe's fundamental structure. Commander Hayes coordinated with combined fleet operations, watching as humans around the world began manifesting abilities that defy conventional physics. Not through alien modification, but through the awakening of dormant genetic potential. Some could perceive multiple dimensions, others could stabilize quantum fields, and a few demonstrated the ability to strengthen the very fabric of reality around them. The marriage law, Dr. Martins realized, reviewing data from failed bonding attempts, it was never meant to succeed. The attempts to modify our DNA were meant to trigger these dormant abilities. You knew we would resist, didn't you? Saren, now serving as liaison between species, nodded. Humanity's greatest strength is its resistance to change imposed from outside. By fighting our modifications, you forced your own evolution to activate. Echo's thoughts carried a tone of admiration. Your species evolved not to advance beyond physical reality, but to serve as its guardians. The universe created you to be its anchors, its defenders against entropy itself. The Voidborn's assault intensified. Where their influence touched, reality began to unravel. Cities worldwide reported temporal anomalies, spatial distortions, and breaks in causality itself. But wherever humans gathered in numbers, reality held firm. Alex's downloaded knowledge revealed the pattern. Every few million years, the universe faces a crisis of existence. Too many species evolve beyond physical laws, creating instabilities that attract the Voidborn. Humanity evolved here, at this quantum nexus point, to prevent total universal collapse. The Resistance's global network coordinated humanity's response. Teams of humans with complementary abilities were deployed to strategic locations worldwide, not to fight directly, but to strengthen the fabric of reality itself. Each human served as a nail, pinning existence firmly in place against the Voidborn's attempts to unravel it. But the enemy was learning, adapting. They began targeting humans specifically, realizing the threat they posed. That's when Alex discovered another truth in the alien data. Humans weren't just anchors, they were seeds. We're not just holding reality together, she announced, watching as more humans worldwide awakened to their abilities. We're teaching it to defend itself. Every human who manifests these abilities strengthens the universal constants themselves. We're not just fighting the Voidborn, we're reinforcing the foundations of existence. The turning point came when the Voidborn breached Earth's inner defense perimeter. As reality began to warp around major population centers, something extraordinary happened. Humans worldwide, connected by their shared purpose and awakened abilities, synchronized their efforts. The effect rippled outward from Earth like a shockwave of pure stability. The Voidborn recoiled as physical laws reasserted themselves with unprecedented force. The tears in reality began to heal, not through advanced technology or alien intervention, but through humanity's collective will to maintain the integrity of their universe. In orbit, Valorian and Nexarian ships watched in awe as human consciousness created a cascading effect of quantum stabilization. The very force that had been causing advanced species to fade from reality was being counteracted by humanity's enhanced connection to the physical universe. You're not just saving Earth, Saren observed, watching the data streams. You're saving every species, giving us a way to advance without losing our connection to physical reality. Echo's form, more stable now in the strengthened field of human-reinforced spacetime, pulsed with revelation. This is why we couldn't simply tell you the truth from the beginning. Humanity needed to discover its purpose organically, to awaken not through external force, but through its own determination. As the last Voidborn retreated from a universe that no longer offered them easy prey, humanity faced its new reality. They were not just another species in a vast cosmos, but an integral part of existence itself, the universe's immune system against entropy and dissolution. The marriage law was formally withdrawn, replaced with open diplomatic relations between species. Humanity would help stabilize the Valorians and Nexarians, not through forced genetic bonding, but through teaching them how to strengthen their own connections to physical reality. Alex stood at a window in the rebuilt International Space Research Center, watching ships from a dozen species dock at Earth's new quantum stabilization facilities. Humans were now teaching other civilizations how to maintain their physical forms while continuing to advance, sharing the genetic wisdom encoded in their DNA. "We spent so long looking up at the stars," she mused, wondering if we were alone, if we mattered in the grand scheme of things. Turns out we weren't just participants in the universe's story, we're its caretakers. The final data from the Resistance's global network showed the changes were permanent. Earth had become a beacon of stability in a universe that desperately needed anchors. Humanity had found its true purpose, not in ascending beyond physical reality, but in protecting it, maintaining it, and teaching others how to exist within it without fading away. As night fell over Earth, its quantum signature pulsed strongly, a hearth fire in the cosmic dark, promising shelter to any species willing to learn the art of remaining real in an increasingly ethereal universe.